Hey everyone, this is Bo from the My server, and I'm here to do a video on the latest new permanent addition added to Mabinogi, and it is called the Auction House! Alright guys, we finally received it! I know you guys are all like, woo! This is a long-awaited addition added to the game, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. There's so much to cover. Let's go, guys! Now, if you guys look at the Mabinogi website, there is a new post talking about the auction boards, literally telling you guys where you guys can find it, which is located on the bottom right corner, and a bunch of other informations like what it does, how to use it, how to buy, and whatnot. Lots of information here, guys. I know you guys don't want to read, so just make sure you keep watching this video, and I'll tell you guys how this whole auction board system works, and some interesting facts on it as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the auction board, shall we? Let's do these. Now, before I dive right into it, I want to share you guys my opinions on the pros and the cons of the auction board. So let's go ahead and take a look at this list here that I've compiled. Whoop whoop, right here. Take a look to your left and to your right, the pros and the cons. Basically, for the pros, in my opinion, no more noting back and forth, guys. You don't have to worry about whether your bid went through, you know, like, did they get my bid or did they never note me back or what, you know, and then they end up selling it. It's like, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. You just get to bid whenever you want and boom, it goes through. Next, there's also no more discriminating sales. So if you're that type of person that only sells to a certain type of people or people that you only like, well, unfortunately, you cannot do that anymore. The auction board doesn't really tell the people who the seller is or who the buyer is, so luckily for you, no more discriminating on that part. Next, there's also no more haggling messages. You don't have people noting you, being like, hey, can I try this instead? Or hey, can you lower it on this? And hey, so none of that anymore. No one's gonna know who you are, you know, if you're selling something, so they can't bother you about it. Next, there's also the fact that buyers cannot back out on their bids. You get people who just kind of bid on something and then they suddenly change their mind. They're like, sorry, I found something cheaper. That is so wrong, guys. It's not how an auction should be. So luckily for you guys, they cannot do that. Once they bid, they are stuck with that bid. Next, you have the fact that there is a better price estimate. You don't have those scammers out there that just go and say like, nah, it doesn't sell for that much, it sells for this much. And then they try to make you confused whether that's the correct price and whatnot. But at least here in the auction board, you can see that it will show you when the item last sold and how much. So you can kind of get an approximate estimate on how much the item should be. Next, you can browse the items by name, category, price, and of course, when the auction ends. So definitely many ways to search for stuff that you like, or may like, or want to find a deal. So definitely a great market system here, guys. And the great part of it is that there are no fees when you list an item to sell. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There is a fee, however, when you receive the gold after you sell the item, but that's how it is in almost every kind of thing in Mabby, whether it be housing or personal shops, there's always going to be some sort of transaction fee, right? Alright, now going on to the cons here. The cons here about the auction system is the fact that the richest players can now literally buy anything. And now I know some of you guys are going to be like, well, Bobo, that's how it is already, isn't it? Well, true, it is. It is kind of how it is in a way. However, there are some players who probably do have a lot of money and can't get the item just because of the fact that there's other rich players competing with them. But now, if you are the richest player and literally money has no problem to you, you can just buy out whatever you can if you can. But that's also kind of a bad thing, considering the fact that, yeah, that's a lot of money to waste, right? Next, there's also limited slots, guys. You can only have a default amount of 10 slots, but you can get an additional 2 more slots if you reach a total level of 2k. So basically 1k you'll get 1 slot, and then 2k you'll get another slot, and that's a total of 12 slots that you guys can have. I have a feeling in the future they might have some sort of shop thing that increases the slot amount, but for now we're limited to just 12. Next, it's also kind of laggy using the auction board. I know some of you guys are just kind of freezing and crashing and whatnot, but that is a known issue, so I don't know if they're going to get that fixed. We'll see. And lastly, last minute bidders. Last minute bidders can literally swipe in at the last minute, the last second before an auction ends and win the bid. So that's another horrible thing for those who cannot always be watching the auction, especially if it's going to end at some weird odd hour of the day. Alright, that is my thoughts, pros and cons on that. Woo! Now let's go ahead and take a look at the actual auction house menu. Now this is gonna be of me, more talking guides here, but I'll do my best to kind of put out a table of contents or something in the description below. Now as you can see, as I click on the icon here that opens the auction board, there are two types of menus. There's the auction house, and then there is my auctions. So for the auction house, this is basically where you're gonna be able to buy items, assuming that it is a regular or a buyout, bid on items, and also preview items as well. If you can preview it, that is. Now, you can also notice that there are two types of, I guess, auction thingies here in this menu. There's one thing that's called regular, and one that's called bid. Now that's something probably a lot of you are confused about, so let me explain what that is. Now a regular type is, let's see if I can find an example here, guys. Alright, let's put it to all and search. There you go. Now as you can see, there are two types here. There's an auction, which is the bid, and then there's the regular. Now the auction is basically an item that somebody can bid on. Something that they want to have, but you know, there is no buyout price in this one, at least. But here you can see this one has a buyout price, so some people can actually put a buyout price, which is aka auto win, and some people can just list it as no buyout. And that is basically what it is. It's something that you can bid on, and hopefully you win the bid and win the item. Now a regular listing is something that is just listed at a set price, and that's it. Just kind of like a personal shop. Like if somebody right here is going to sell this item, they don't want to bother with the bidding. They're just going to sell it at that item, and that's how much you can buy it for. And that's what the difference is between regular and auction, if you guys are confused about that. Now the next thing that I want to also show you guys here is, if you click on it, you can actually preview your character holding the item. Nice, right? Oh my goodness. It's a lot better than having to go all the way to the housing channel and previewing stuff, right? So if it's actual an equipable item, you can actually preview your character holding it. So it's kind of neat feature right here. And of course, click on it allows you to purchase the item if it can be purchased, or if it's an item that requires a bid, lets you click on top bid so you can bid on it to be the top bidder. There's also a buyout for the auctions, only for those who actually put a buyout amount, and you can just literally buy it out if you don't want to deal with the whole auctioning and you feel like you want to pay for the buyout price. Now once again, as I said, there is no listing fee, but there is a 5% fee for receiving your payment when you sell an item. So once you sell an item and you receive the item, the gold for the item, there's a 5% fee. Also, if your bank is full, this is the one thing people worry about, is the fact that what happens if your bank is full? Can you receive the money? Where does the money go? Well, what happens is the money will be turned into a check, and then it'll also charge you another 5% fee for making it into a check. So you don't really want to do that. You want to make sure you have plenty of room for the gold in your bank. Otherwise, it's going to turn into a check, right? Alright, now, searching. This is probably one of the most important thing about about this auction board. I know the first thing everyone had encountered was the horrendous lag and crash for the searching bar. So I want to let you guys know, the moment you open this board, do not, under any circumstance, start searching on this menu right away. You don't want to do that. The reason why I say that is that it's going to start to pull up results from every single category and will probably crash you. And it's not meant to do that. So instead, it's a kind of, they're trying to fix it or something. I think they are, but I really don't think so. But there is another way around it. You want to click on the category first. So if you already know you're looking for, let's say, I don't know, an outfit, go to clothing category. As long as you're looking in the clothing category, you can now search through here. So let's say I want to look for the new Cupid stuff. I start typing C. And you can see the results just pop down. Everything that has just the letter C in it will show up. And that's the reason why it's so laggy. The search thing is going to be so crazy if you search it on all categories. So you only want to search it within its own subcategory. So I'm going to type in the word Cupid. And voila, my results. It is case sensitive, guys, so you do have to type in a capital and then lowercase everything else. Just FYI. And there's also things I want to share with you guys about how to find the items you need. I know it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error thing. Some categories you might have an idea of where certain stuff are, but let's say you're looking for something like a title and you're like, I'm not sure what titles go under. Now I'm going to guesstimate that titles are a consumable item because you consume it, right? So just double click on that. And I'm going to type in the word here. Title. You can see already how laggy it is as I just type in one letter. So I'm going to search title. And blah. It's going to show me underneath here, as long as I'm searching under the correct category of where it might be under, it's actually listed under the other tab for anything that's a title. So it's actually listed under other. Now I can see here all the titles in here in this list. So that's a little workaround for those who kind of want to figure out where certain stuff are at, but it's still kind of a trial and error sort of thing. Now the next thing I want to show you guys are the filters. As you can see, there are many different kinds of filters that you can choose when it comes to searching for the stuff on the menu here. There is the regular and the bid. So if you don't want to look at anything that's at a set price, you only want to look at auction stuff, check mark only the bid. If you want to search for also the things at a set price, check mark the regular, or just go to all if you want both. Now there's also a button here, or X mark here, that says exact match. I honestly don't know why this is even going to be a thing, but let me show you guys why you don't want to use it. Alright, let's close this. Let's go to armor, clothing. Let's say I want to look for the bat dress or something, right? I'm going to type in the word bat. As you can see right now, it shows me all categories that have the letter bat in it. If I were to click on exact match, it's not going to do that. It's not going to find anything for me. Now if I typed exactly how it's spelled out, literally to the very last letter with the parentheses and everything, then it'll show me based off of the exact match. Now that's the reason why I wouldn't have this box checked, just because of the fact that it's going to limit you on searching for things. Next, you will notice that there is an advanced icon right here. Clicking on that will let you filter to even a more filtery point. I can't think of words, but you can filter it even more to the point that you only want to look for, let's say, a certain price range. Whoa, crazy, right? Yeah, well, it actually kind of works. So I'm going to look at this list. I'm going to see, there's bat dress right there. Let's say I only want to find one that's 200k, because the other ones are more expensive. Let's see if this thing works, right? And search. What? Why not? Did I type in the wrong amount? 1 2 1 2 3. Search. What? Why? Search? Not working. It doesn't work, guys. Maybe 200 is too low. Maybe it's supposed to be higher. Let's do 300. Search. What the heck? For the name. Oh, I see. Alright. Let's start this over again. Let's start search. There you go. Start the search really slow here. And then do this. I know it worked last time. I tested it out. There you go. boom, now it shows to you. So it's something you're gonna have to search first in the item menu here by clicking on search, and then you have to click on the advance and use it. I know it's kind of weird, it's hard to explain, but now you can see how it works when it comes to searching for things. Don't really think people are going to use it that much. There's not too many things on the auction board that's crazy to the point that you need to filter stuff out. But that is an option for you guys if you need it. Another way you can also filter things is by, oh my god, enchants. So let's say I want to look for only, I don't know, I'm gonna put basic adventure here. You guys all know the basic adventure. Even the enchant pops up right here. Basic adventure. I'm gonna search only basic adventure stuff. Not exists. Really? What if I look under heavy armor? Ha! There you go. It's not under clothing, of course. It's under heavy armor. So there you go. You get results of basic adventure stuff. So that's another way you can filter. Also, even by enchants up here. I know you guys are all like, oh my god, too much things. Yeah, I'm not done yet, guys. There's even more things. So let's say you are on the menu here. Let's go to the menu. I'm just going to close it and then reopen it. It's much easier. There you go. Alright, clothing. Let's say you want to sort it by name. Just click on the item here, and then it'll be sorting everything in alphabetical order. Click this item here where it says time left, and sort it by the time when it's going to end, or the longest time for the auction. And of course, you can sort by sale type if you want to, but this meh. Or the price, which is probably the most important one here, is cheapest price to the highest of what's being sold, so you can see what the latest deals are. So definitely a great way to go window shopping, right guys? So that is basically everything you guys kind of need to know about this section right here for the auction house. Now, moving on to the My Auction section tab right here. And in this tab, this basically is going to be where it's going to show all the items that you are putting up for either for sale or for auction, and also the items that you're bidding. So if you're bidding on an item and if you're also selling an item, it's going to take up a slot. So that's one thing to keep in mind. You cannot do a lot of bidding and do a lot of selling. You're going to have a limit eventually. Now there's a total of 10 slots as a default amount, and of course, as I said before, you can gain an extra slot once you reach 1k total, and another extra slot once you reach 2k total. Now this tab is also the place where you're going to see notifications on your bids. Now let's say you bidded on something and then somebody outbids you. You will receive a notification on the bottom right corner right here. It's going to be almost like receiving a note. And you're also going to see a little icon in red on the top tab right here. So it's a little bit of an indicator saying, hey, look at this, something has happened to your auction list. It also lets you know if your items had sold or not. So that's also a good thing too. Alright. Now, the next thing on this list is that there are different auction statuses here. You can see that there is listed, which is basically the items that you had put onto the list to sell. There's also one that will change it to that it didn't sell, or that there's a bid in progress, or that you need to rebid. So make sure you check your auction status to see your items, whether you need to take them out or put them back in. Otherwise you'll be wasting a slot. Alright, now here is probably the one thing you guys been waiting for, is how to make a listing. So let's go ahead and do that. Click on the listing section here. Whoa, my bag's opened. They're exposed. So you have two options here. You can either put a regular listing or an auction listing. I think this is where people start getting confused. So let's do it slowly, one by one. So for the regular listing, it's going to be something that you just want to price at that set price. You don't want to change the price. You don't want people to bid on it. That's the price you want to sell it at. So for example, I'm going to throw in a stack of holy waters in here. You can see that this is a unit price, meaning I can price it individually. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in 5K here. There's a total, is it, can't even see the icon, 9? I thought it was 10. The heck, threw me off. But you can see that I listed the unit price at 5K, and then the total price here says 45 because there's 9 in there. Now, here's the neat part, guys. The neat part here is if you click on details right here, it's going to open a little graph telling you when it last sold this item, you know, and how much. So you can kind of get a rough estimate of how much this item might cost and adjust your price if you need to. So you can also set this little menu here and view it by weekly if you want to see how it's been doing throughout the week, or even monthly for a more bigger range of price. So it's nice. It's a nice little chart thingy just to see. Just kind of hover your mouse over it and see how much, what day it was sold and how much. Or you can click on this view list here and it'll show you just literally the amount and how many items, of course. So that's kind of nice. I don't know. I think that's nice. It's a nice little addition. Now, you can set the duration of how long you want to put it up here. Now, if you're doing a regular listing, I don't see why you shouldn't put it to the max amount unless you desperately need to have it sold right away. But it doesn't really matter in my opinion, because when people buy it, they just buy it, right? So it's up to you in terms of the duration here, but the longer it's on the board, the better, right? Not the same case for the auction, however. Now, if you're gonna auction something off, let's say you want to throw in this beam sword. I cannot sell this. What? Why? Why can't I sell beam swords? That's weird. Interesting. This item cannot be listed, huh? Well, now you guys know beam swords can't be listed. Okay, let's put in this pair of shoes then. So, now for the auction here is where you can put the starting bid. This is the bid that you want people to price things at. So I'm gonna, let's say I'm gonna put, I don't know, I'm gonna put like 50K. just estimate. And now the buyout, it's up to you. You can leave it at no buyout, or you can set it with a buyout. It's really up to you. But some people like to not leave it at a buyout, so it leaves it open for constant bidding. Versus the buyout will actually let people just instantly buy it. Kind of like an auto win, right, guys? So I'm gonna put in maybe, let's just say I put in like 600K or something like that for the buyout amount. And I can put the listing here, or the duration, whether it be 6 hours, 12, 24, or 36. That's basically the intervals you guys can use here. Now I know some people are going to be like, yeah, well, why not put it in the longest time? Let it be up there for as long as possible. Well, it depends. Some people actually like things ending sooner so they don't have to wait too long. So it really depends on your sales technique, whether you want to put it up for 6 hours or put it up for 36 hours. So it's all up on you guys. And of course, don't forget there's a transaction fee once the item sells. So that's kind of how you put everything. Again, if you don't want a buyout price, you can just kind of just get rid of it, and boom, no buyout. They're stuck with constantly bidding, and that's how this whole bidding system works. Once you have it listed, you'll see it show up on your list just like this, and you'll see how much time is left for your item and what kind of item it is, whether it's an auction or a regular. You can't really see how many people has bidded on your listing, unfortunately, but just cross your fingers and hope that they have been bidding. Now, let's see. One important thing you guys might want to know also is that there are some items that cannot be sold. As you can see, those beam swords couldn't have been sold. But there are some items that say tradable, and some, like this says tradable, cannot be sold, unfortunately. Artisans. And let's see, what else do I have here? I can't find my my item that I wanted to put in here and show you guys. Sad. I'm pretty sure things that are binded to you cannot be put in there. What's binded to me? I think this one's binded to me. Yeah, cannot be put in there. Well, I can't find it, but I'll let you guys know right now that reforges can go in there. I don't know where my reforges are at. It's somewhere in my inventory somewhere. Too many stuff in my inventory. Sad face. It bothers me now that I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Duh. Ta-da! So yeah, you can put reforges in there. Okay. Now that you guys know that, just also know that when you list items, it's gonna ask for a bank pin. So it's very good safety procedure right there for those who are worried that their stuff gets sold off through the market if they ever got hacked. Well, there's a bank pin thing. Alright. Now, finally, some important facts that you guys might want to know about the auction house. Let's go take a look at this. Alright, so important facts is, once you list an item, you cannot remove it. Just remember that you cannot remove the item that you've listed unless no one has bidded on it. So if nobody bidded on your item, you can actually remove it. However, the moment somebody bids on it, you're stuck with that bid. So make sure that if you guys are gonna list an item... Oh god, all my bags just open. It's horrible. It's closing all my bags. There you go. Just make sure that when you list an item, you don't want to put the bidding amount here so low, like 1 gold. Because let's say somebody did bid 1 gold. You actually have no choice but to sell it at 1 gold by the end of the bid. Assuming nobody else bids on it. So you don't want to put a price on it so low to the point that you won't get profit, right? So just keep that in mind, guys. Once they bid, you cannot remove it. Next, once you bid on an item, you cannot cancel or quit your bid, even if you find another cheaper one somewhere else, unless someone else outbids you. So let's say, you know, I'm going to bid on something, one of these items here, and I bid on it, and then like you find another item, the very same item on the list, and you're like, oh crap, that was cheaper. You can't really cancel your bid unless someone else bids on the very same item that you bid on, and then the results will allow you to actually cancel your bid or rebid. So that is one thing to keep in mind, guys. Another thing is that when you bid on something, it doesn't extend the duration of your auction. So let's say somebody had an item that's about to expire, and then, you know, you're that one person that bid on it, and you're waiting, there's 1 minute left, and then somebody suddenly outbids you at the very last minute. Well, unfortunately, that doesn't mean it'll extend the time, allowing you enough time to rebid on it. It's just literally going to end the moment the time runs out. So keep that in mind, guys. There can be last minute bidders out there that will swipe in and take your item. The next thing is that the auction house uses your bank gold to bid and deposit your earnings. So you can't really bid on stuff with the gold in your in your bag. You're gonna have to actually make sure you have gold in your actual bank. So make sure you visit the bank guy right there, guys. And next, I just want you guys to know that scammers can still exist with the auction house. And how I say that, or I guess the reason why I say that is because some people can actually trick other players by going on their alts that have money, and then kind of bid on your item that you bid on, and might overbid your actual item, and making you think that someone else was bidding on it, when really it was them. Now I want to say it's a very risky move, because if that person does end up, bidding on their own item, and then you decide not to bid on it, well, they kind of lose out 5% on that transaction fee, right? If they actually win the item again. So that is that could be a little risky move there, guys. Just keep in mind that if you find your bidder, or whatever, the person that's bidding against you, questionable, don't keep upping the price. Now the next thing I also want to let you guys know is that there's a lot of cursor problems in the auction board. So if I click on this, and let's say I want to look for like a mini gem or something, type in mini, what the heck, close that, and search, and see all these like mini gems here. I'm gonna specifically type in Koopa and then the mini gem. Now if I click on the I guess the text here, you guys can see that my cursor is in the middle and I can't go back and forth. This is the same issue that they've had for the notes for the pet list, if you guys remember that. And you cannot backspace. Now that's one thing that's kind of annoying for people who can't delete this, and they normally don't know how to fix that. So if you guys want to fix that, all you gotta do is type in or press Control A for Control All, and then you'll see the cursor move to the end, and then press backspace or delete, and it'll delete everything before it. So that's one thing you guys will need to know if you guys are using this auction house. And also, when you are also pricing stuff, one thing to keep in mind, when you price something, and I put something over here on the board, and then I'm gonna put like amount here, you'll notice that the cursor goes before the 0. So if I start typing, let's say 5k, if I just instantly type in 5k without thinking, there's gonna be an extra 0 there. So just keep in mind that there's an extra 0 right here that can actually throw your price off. So if you don't want that to happen, just make sure you're looking at the price before you list it, because like I said, once somebody bids on your item, you cannot take it off the market. Alright, and that is basically my video on the new auction system. I know it's a lot of me talking. Hopefully I can sort it out for you guys so you guys can figure out where to go and what to find on the auction information stuff. So anyways, thanks you guys for watching my video. Hopefully it was helpful. If I forgot anything, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And like always guys, stay awesome.